and procedures of Parliament. And I understand even from my interview earlier with one of the new members of Parliament, in terms of the conduct of members of Parliament who should behave and conduct themselves honorably, for them to be able to carry the aspirations of the people and also to be able to fulfill those aspirations through the work that they will be doing. We see the arrival, Bengani, of Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, who is also here for the 10th opening of the 10th Parliament by President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
Kuleziphathamandla Justin eziningi ezithe zafika ukula ababusayo njalo sibone umantshi bengena, sibona njalo isikhulumele seParliament, sike sabona njalo ungena akuka Kena retired Kembo Mhadila ungenile ukathesi sibonile njalo uGeneral retired uDr. Constantino Chiwenga namhlanje ukuthi ezokuzwa la amazwi azakhulunywa ngumongameli welizwe. Sike sakhuluma Justin labanye ngaphambilini, sisizwa njalo abasakhulayo bekhuluma njalo ukuthi bona bangenile eParliament okuveza sobala amazwi akhulunywa ngumongameli welizwe ukuthi akula muntu akula ndawo esalayo, wonke umuntu Justin ugoqelwe phakathi. Nxa sikhangela NDS1 ikhuluma nge-inclusivity, sibona abesifazane bakhona, abasakhulayo bakhona, bonke abantu bakhona njalo namhlanje ukuvulwa kwayo. Sikhangelela ukuthi kuminyaka emihlanu elandelayo konke lokhu kuzagcwalisiswa kumbe ukuthuthukiswa. Justin.
Oh yes, Bengani, that's exactly the expectation of the generality of the people of Zimbabwe. When they vote their representatives into power, they expect the representatives to be able to fulfill their aspirations. And this is why today the State of the Nation address and the official opening of Parliament by President Emmerson Mnangagwa is a crucial event, as it outlines what the Zimbabwean populace should expect from their government. This is the government of the people of Zimbabwe, and it is going back to the people, also going back to consult, going back to outlay the plans that the government has for the people. And it's very, very important in terms of making sure that as the government moves forward with developmental programs, the people themselves are in line with those development programs and they understand where government is coming from and where government is going. This is the general concept of the State of the Nation address. So shortly we are expecting that President Emmerson Mnangagwa will be arriving here at the new Parliament building, where he will preside over the official opening of the 10th Parliament of Zimbabwe. I believe, particularly for those who are actually coming into Parliament for the first time, it's an awesome experience, as they also get to understand how they interact with each other. You know that the issues of developing Zimbabwe are not centered in one province or in one district or in one constituency, but this is a national developmental agenda. As you rightly said, it is anchored on the mantra, leaving no one and no place behind. So even when we talk of issues of devolution, Bengani, we are saying one province might be endowed with natural resources, with minerals, with the good agriculture and so forth, but even in that sense it is also able to feed other provinces. This is the reason why Zimbabwe is the bread basket of Africa. It is endowed with a good climate, it is endowed with good skills in terms of agriculture, and yet it can still feed the whole continent, it can still feed every other nation in Zimbabwe.
Wako Justin ukuthi namhlanje umongameli welizwe ukhangelele khona ukuthi uza kuvula ihlandla lechumi. Sikhangela kulemisebenzi ehlukeneyo eqhakathekileyo ethe yaphathwa. Ukakhuluma omunye wami Justin ekhuluma nge-decentralization. I-decentralization yona echo ukuthi inhlelo eziqhakathekileyo kumele zitholakale ezabelweni zonke. Sike sabona imizamo ethe yenziwa nguhulumende yokuthi izinto njengezithupha, izinto njengama-passport ukutholakala endaweni ezehlukeneyo. Sibona eWange, eMurewa sekutholakala lapho kutholakala khona ama-passport. Siyakhangela njalo ukuthi ilizwe leZimbabwe liyilizwe elilombuso kaZulu. iZimbabwe ngesikhiwa abathi is a constitutional democracy. Nxa sikhangela njalo ukuthi amandla abo avela ebantwini abazayo namhlanje abaphethe iziphathamandla ezabelweni ezehlukeneyo, ziqhathekile njalo ukuthi namhlanje zizo ezize zithunywe ngabantu ukuthi zizobumba imithetho egcwalisisa intando kaZulu ukuza kwazo namhlanje abantu ababakhethayo bakhangelele khona ukuthi abantu abakhethayo abazabamela namhlanje lapho abazamela khona edale parliament lapho abazabe bebumba khona imithetho namhlanje. Justin, kuqakathekile ukuthi unanzelele ukuthi ilizwe leZimbabwe lona lilizwe elilandela isisekelo sombuso welizwe leZimbabwe. Ukuza kwabo namhlanje abameli laba yibo ababumba umthetho oyisisekelo sombuso welizwe leZimbabwe. iZimbabwe City yona is a constitutional democracy. Justin,
constitutional democracy indeed, Bengani. When you look at how Zimbabwe strives to adhere to the dictates of its own constitution, you look at even the processes leading to this day today, these are all constitutional processes that are supposed to be followed. You look at how the elections were conducted, all that, the campaign period leading to the announcement of the results, the inauguration processes and everything else leading to this day, it actually shows that Zimbabwe is among some best democracies perhaps in the region and even outside of Africa. So these are the processes that also enable Zimbabwe to continuously improve its processes, when you bring members of parliament together, you're also bringing minds together and making sure that even in terms of review of the laws, this happens in parliament. And so this place is likely to be a hive of activity in terms of members of parliament reviewing laws, aligning laws to the constitution and making sure that what is in the constitution is what takes place on the ground.
Yebo, Justin, njongo chokwaku ukuthi uZulu wavotela wakhetha abameli bedale parliament abakhethayo bakhangelele ukuthi nxa bengenza lapha abameli bedale parliament, Justin, baza bekhulumisana bexoxa sithi i-robust discussion, betshintshana imizamo okujonge ukuthi kuthuthukise impilo kaZulu. Ekucineni uZulu nguye okumele abe nguye okhokhelayo, abe nguye obona ophathiswa imithetho ezabunjwa kuleli dale eliqhakathekile. Xa silikhangele Justin dale lidale elihle njalo sikhangelele okuhle njalo ukuthi kuzabunjwa kudale leli, sikhangele lapho umongameli lapho azafika khona ezethula isimo selizwe kunengi okuhle osithe kwenziwa, sikhangele ukuthi kuzaqhubekela phambili kumbe kuthuthukiswe lokho esikhangelele. Justin,
certainly the majesty of this structure is expected to translate to the robust debate that must be taking place when parliamentarians meet for debate, reviewing, as you said, reviewing the laws and so forth. And you mentioned a very important aspect, Bengane, of the people being the rulers, because President Emerson Mnangagwa says the leaders are the servants. The people who elected them into power are their masters. So it's important even for the members of parliament who are here today to always remember. I'm excited and actually inspired by one of the guests that we had earlier who spoke about the need to be going back to the people to represent the aspirations of the people. So members of parliament are also here to ensure that what they debate in parliament is a reflection of what people back home are expecting them to debate. And so this structure is going to be the hub, an innovation hub for the ideas, innovation hub for development, for new laws, progressive laws, progressive legislation that should enhance development or create development in areas where development is absent. So when we look at members of parliament coming here and then going back to the people, it's exactly what lawmakers must do. There's issues of policy reviews. We expect a lot of policies to be reviewed. We expect a lot of laws to be reviewed here at this new parliament in Mount Hamden. And so when President Emerson Mnangagwa officially opens the 10th session of Parliament and delivers his State of the Nation address, is also perhaps expected to be looking at the bills that have not been finalized, that have not, and laws that still need to be aligned to the Constitution. I believe there's quite a number of them, but also perhaps there's need to commend the Second Republic for having been able to review a number of laws. I remember Honorable Ziyambi, the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, when he mentioned quite a plethora or a number of laws that have since been aligned. You look at the issues to do with child marriages, most of laws to do with that have been reviewed and aligned to the constitutions, protecting the rights of the people of Zimbabwe, particularly the vulnerable, women, people with disabilities, even the youth. And that's why we have those who are representing youth through the youth quota system. Policy review being fruitful in Zimbabwe.
chokomende Justin so olebereka kuko zunji zino zokatiwa kale tilinga kuti kuna mabili mamanuka kuti jajikijwe kokatilinga so olebereka kwata zunji zokatiwa zokajajikijwe kuba milawo tilebereka kuti kuna zimwe zino zinanga zokutabirija bachinokubuka vanhu vose tilinga kale kushingiswa ko zinokola ma drugs tilinga kwafeno tumulinga kuti zino zose zucha zuisana pezhuru pazo bamiriri aba abanolebereka bamiriri aba kumirira abantu bagere kujeoko tikumulinga kuti zino zikumukahaja abantu zikumushupa abantu zunanga mapirisi anokola ngumushingiswa nabana bachinokubuka tumulinga kuti beva ku bantu bachaja kale ndebo jakadai bezuisana pezhuru pajo bebwirize zubano bawana mukuzuisana Justin kulebereka yokuno kuna zunji zinokola tuzutiwe abantu baromirira kale bantu bakabashala yaba bantu bebashala kudai so kuti beno amirira zunji zibakalingirira zukolo ini zinokola tuzitiwa muzukolo belinga zunu zulaija zulosiyana zwefundo kuti ini zungatiwa kuti bantu babe banje kuna mishingo inotiwa kale mukukwenda kwanika kwevula zino zinonga sikuwanika kwevula zinopanja bantu ini zinotiwa ndipi milayo chabigwa kuti bantu yaba bewane lubancho bewane kale kuti bechijwe mu mishingo yose iba kumuta Justin.
The issues of service delivery are very crucial in terms of making sure that people's livelihoods are transformed. Bengani, when you talk of availing resources or facilities such as health care centers, it's commendable when you look at the work that the Second Republic has done, particularly in the 5 years that have gone by. When you look at how it has struggled and actually managed to ensure that there is universal health coverage and access to health facilities across all the provinces of the country, and the members of parliament that we have been interacting with have actually been referring to such issues, making sure that in their constituencies people are able to access healthcare centers. And even also you look at the distances that the pupils or students have been traveling to access education, because education is a basic right, health is a basic right. So members of parliament are also concerned with making sure that the people in their constituencies are able to access such services in terms of health, education, even recreation. When you look at, you mentioned the issues of drug and substance abuse, where youth actually, some of them are actually embroiled in this sketch. It's perhaps one of the reasons that has been put across by stakeholders is there is lack of recreation in specific or in certain areas. And I believe it's also the task of members of parliament to be able to actually identify the kind of recreation that they can establish in their centers or in their constituencies to make sure that our youth are not caught up in drug and substance abuse. This is very, very, very important, because recreation is part of life.
Yes. Chokomende Justin vanhu vanokwakuwana ndau chokuzubala ija unu engoswana zino zokuta ndo pano pejileja ebata mishingo yakadalo sokolebera koko aba midi parliament vanokupota indao jokubancha vachinokubuka walebereka kabiri Justin nozino zilokosha kasa munyaya service delivery pamwe mpera nezokuta nokuvakwa kozuvakwa infrastructure development zunji zokatiwa untukamiri weshango vanogara belebereka beti inyika inovakwa nebene bayo bene benyika ndio vanovivaka tilinga kuti ishango yeZimbabwe kuvaka ungwagwa unonda ku Bay Bridge ungwagwa wakavakwa navana veshango yeZimbabwe veshingisa zuvyazo mushango yeZimbabwe zunova zuno tambulika kale kuna zunzunjizo kumuvakwa nevana veZimbabwe tilinga akale akuna chakavakwa chakavenda mudenga Justin chakavenda mudenga chakavakwa navana veshango yeZimbabwe unit 7 and 8 vana veshango yeZimbabwe vamwe vakaveri mubulongwa yobo tilinga akale zumvako zinonga soko Bay Bridge border post chakavakwa chivakwa chinochena misa chivakwa kale tilinga zose zunu yozo zvatiwa kale nehurumende yaviri toda tilinga akale kuti kwafeno tamirira kuti pana zimwe zikuruwana kale mu makole mashanu anotobera Justin.
Infrastructure development, I believe with the members of parliament that we have for this 10th parliament, Bengani, it's important for them to be able also to identify the capital projects that they can influence the government to carry out in their constituencies. We have provinces that are endowed with mineral resources, provinces that have high-skilled labor, provinces that have an advantage in terms of agriculture, even in terms of terrain and the geography that is there. So it's also important for members of parliament not just to represent people in parliament and take the aspirations of the people and debate them in parliament, but also for them to be able to be managers of economic development in their own constituencies, for them to be able to open their eyes to the opportunities that exist within their constituencies. This is exactly when you look at the concept of devolution, the concept of provincial development. It actually speaks to people being able to identify the opportunities that exist within their provinces and also then to develop on them. We are expecting viewers the arrival shortly of President Emerson Mnangagwa here at Parliament, the new Parliament building. We know that in previous years people would be gathered in the square in town in Harare to actually watch on their big screens and so forth, but right now we are here at the new Parliament building in Harare. You can see on your screens the horsemen that are part of the procession that always accompanies the opening of Parliament, and they are there on your screens. There is quite a majestic occasion. You look at the way things are programmed and the way things are done, the processes, everything being done to the dot. Also, you know, a sign of the excellence that is and the careful planning that is put into these events.
Yeah, masikhangele okwamanje umongameli welizwe ukhangelele ukuthi uyangena, sikhangela njalo ukuthi kuwebezela okwenzakalayo lapha. Sibona abanye begada amabhiza njalo, into yonke ikhanya ihlelekile, Justin, okuveza njalo ukuthi yonke into ekhangelelweyo kumele ibe into ehlelekileyo. Siyabona njalo ukuthi labamileyo kukhangela ukakathesi nxa sixhuma kumabona kude wenu liyananzelela njalo ukuthi umongameli welizwe okathesi ukhangelela ukuthi uzafika lapho azakhangela ehlola njalo abebutho.
And there he is, the President, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa. He has arrived and is ready to inspect the guard of honor. As you see, the mounted guard there that is also has been preparing and is ready for that inspection by President Emerson Mnangagwa. He's already here at the new Parliament building where he will officially open the 10th session of Parliament.
Yebo, Justin, umongameli welizwe Emerson Mnangagwa ukathesi uhlola ibutho njalo enguye umlawuli webutho lesizwe njalo ukathesi siyambona ehlola ibutho lesizwe, Justin.
Yes, the president being accompanied by a mounted escort from the Zimbabwe Republic Police, and he will inspect the guard of honor. Thereafter, we will witness the fly past and a 21-gun salute. This is what is taking place here, and as we speak, Bengani, the service chiefs are also now going to be taking their place as they will be together with President Emerson Mnangagwa for the inspection and other procedures that follow. This is exactly part of the very important aspects of the official opening of Parliament that we'll be witnessing, and we believe you are also witnessing their viewers on your screens as President Emerson Mnangagwa gets ready to officially open the 10th session of Parliament.
Yebo, Justin, okathesi siyabona njalo ukuthi umongameli welizwe Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa usekhatshiwe ukuthi ayekwenelisa ukuhlola ibutho lesizwe. Sikhangele njalo lezinye izinqumo eziveza ukuhlonipha lokunanza umsebenzi wakhe omkhulu njalo. Sikhuluma kanje umongameli welizwe seqalisile uhlelo lwakhe lokuhlola abebutho.
Soldier salute! Present! Up! Good morning, Your Excellency. Guard of honor to mark the first